Fucking hell, how hot is it?
Hello and welcome
Straight
back
away, like,
to
fucking
Game of
getting
Rose.
scolded.
And Toby is making fun of me immediately as we begin.
Well, start as you mean to go on, Bob. That's what I like to
Exactly.
say.
Now, hopefully,
Um,
people can hear us this time.
yeah. Well, I was about to say, before I start rambling on, so I have a tendency to start rambling on from the beginning,
Oh,
and then not actually,
not actually being
no
able
one
to
is
hear
being
you.
able to hear. Yeah, 'cause that's what happened when I described my job, and then it just went in the wind, and it was yeah.
Look, you didn't miss much, guys. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
No, they've missed some of the best stories going, and I think there's been a lot of complaints actually from our loyals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dan gets in contact with me very regularly.
He's a legend. Witten is online. Hello, shout out, Witten.
Yes, Whittam, what are you saying? How you been?
He's the greatest man alive. Haven't seen him on my streams recently. I haven't streamed in the last few days. Been a bit busy.
Yeah, well, that's because I wasn't on your stream. So if you think about it, it probably you probably knew that I was going to be here, but we have teased
Exactly.
him a bit though. He's probably expecting Ewan as well, so he's catfished him really. But
Yeah.
you never. we've just turned into a big catfish.
Yeah, we are Ewan down today. A Ewan down. Oh,
But we will be back to full strength squad for next pod.
yeah, we will. We will. Witten's been on that 7-day work week grind, Toby. You know how that
Yes,
feels.
Witten. Yeah, but I love to hear it. Like, I'll tell you what though, it's good when I don't know if you guys get it, but I think you guys have the last day before your day off, don't you just get mad energy?
I do get quite excited on a Friday. I won't lie. You get invigorated.
Well, yeah, but it's just like on a Thursday can really drag, but like on a Friday, I don't know, like I sort of get to lunch and I'm a bit like, oh, well, obviously it's not like Friday for me because obviously I work weekends as well, but when I get to, that's what I mean. When I get to the last day before a day off, I'm there like, oh, this is awesome. Like I have like so much energy.
You do work a ridiculous number of days, though. How many days have you worked straight, Toby?
Well, in the last 9 days, I worked 8.
Yeah, that's quite a lot of days straight.
So yeah, eight out of 9 days. But then I've had today off. But then I've sort of got a really good bit. Then I've got 2 days on. Then I've got my weekend off, and then
Which is always good.
I go into another stretch of like 8 days with 1 day off.
That's mental. Well,
but it's all right. Like I getting the dollar in definitely before I go back into uni. Then obviously I'll be going part time where I'll be doing that and uni. So, but I still have written in for the pod for every 2 weeks on the Wednesday. So even when I'm working or at uni, I shall still be present for the pod.
we don't have to worry. Game of Bros fans.
Imagine if I had the mentality to turn up to the pod that for that to uni.
Yeah, it would be good.
Well, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen from next year. See, I'm going to be good, but I feel that we might be switching, Bob. I feel like you might be turning bad, and I might be turning good because you've been getting into scraps. I hear.
Yeah, I have. Yes, I did get punched in the face this weekend. It is why there wasn't a stream yesterday. We've got a first-time chatter called Rolyhead492 who has just said Rolyhead.
Like Roidy head or Roady head?
Rolyhead might be roll lie head, maybe.
Rely head.
Rely head.
You know, one day we're gonna get caught into saying like something really stupid.
Yeah, we will.
You know
Well,
where
you
there's
will.
like funny names, and then when you say it like twice, you sort of realize what you're saying.
That has happened to me before. Rowley Head 4149 was taken. That is, I'm surprised that was taken.
It's kind of weird that you went for that specific one, and then it was like, no, that's actually taken. They're like, we've done the math, and it just doesn't quite add up.
No, look, everyone wants that Rowley Head name. There's 492 people have had it. That's the lowest number.
You know, obviously you can't use the same username as someone else.
Yeah.
At my work, on like the training that we have to do, you have to do like redo the test like every 6 months, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling me that each year you have to change your password, and it can never be the last password that you had. And I was like, but if somebody wants to go on to my learning and do it for me, then they should be more than welcome to. Like, why would anyone do that? Like, my password's written on the office. Like, why would I be secretive? All you have to do is just go through the PowerPoint and just answer the right questions. Like, if somebody did that for me, I'm not exactly going to be mad. It's also like this. Sorry, this is a bit of a rant, a bit of a side tangent.
No worries.
I tried to pay a fucking phone bill the other day, and I was going through all these security questions, and I'm now like, look, mate, like, after we sort of get through them, I'm now like, can I like put a stop to that? And he's like, put a stop to what? I'm like, look, if somebody accidentally pays my phone bill, that's on them. Like, I'd say open it up to anyone. Like, if anyone's there, like, oh, I want to pay the bill for this number, you know, don't be there like, oh no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that like really stupid, or is that just me? Like, I genuinely, I was thinking about it the other day on the bus, and I was just there like, no, that's actually really stupid. Like, if I was, you wouldn't have that at a bar, would you? Like, if somebody was at the thing going, that's £15, and then somebody went, oh, I'll get that for you, and leant over and did it on their contact list, the barman's not going to go, oh no, you can't do that.
Yeah, but your bank details are linked to your account. So that's like them saying, oh, I'll do that, and taking your card off you and then paying for it. Like, they might like also buy themselves a drink with your card while they have it. That's what the risk is. They have all your details on online, don't they?
Yeah, but it wasn't talking to the bank. I was paying a bill.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They do want to make sure it's you. You first off, I've worked out who Rowley Head is.
Ooh, do I know them, or will
Yeah,
I not know them?
yeah, you do know them. I should have known when he said classic Rowley Head. For Hagrid is a
classic,
joke.
That's Elliot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Hagrid is a joke when me and Elliot were once sat in your room when you lived near town, Toby. And then and now he's agreeing with you, and he says that he wants to pay your phone bill. Unless someone's doing a PS not James Hogan to us, which I realised I shouldn't have said the full name.
That's my password.
That was your password. No, Toby, I can think of a classic example of you with security questions. I remember once you were in my parents' kitchen and you were on the phone and you were trying to sort out your passport or something, and they were asking you security questions, and you went, no, it was like, what's your address? And you went, right, it could be 2. So do I get 2 goes? And I heard the guy over the phone go, no, you can't guess 2 addresses. And then you got it right, and then it went on to security questions, and you went, can I have a hint? To the guide giving you the security questions over the phone. And he was just like, no, you cannot have a hint.
I really do try, like, I don't know. People like sometimes say to me like, how are you so like you? Because I do sometimes get a bit of luck, but I do just sort of try my luck quite a lot. Like,
it's
you'll be surprised what you can get away with if you just ask.
Yeah, you're right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, for example, right? I know we've gone a bit off topic, but like, for example, if you get a bill out, right, and you owe a company 80 quid, yeah.
Yeah.
You, instead of going, oh, but I've only got 90 quid left to last me to the end of the month, like another week and a half, you can then call that company and be there like, oh, well, can I just give you 40 now and then 40 next week? And like, but some people don't think to do that. They like, if they have something happen, they're like, oh my God, I have to do it. Like, I have to do it now. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like
Maybe I should. Look, let's just put a disclaimer. I'm not giving anyone advice on bills or budgeting.
I was gonna say,
anyone who knows me will literally sat there going, yeah, no, I just don't think that's like we all have our quality, you know.
yeah, money's just not yours.
It's not mine.
No. Managing your money. Roadiehead is saying, look, we should just gamble instead. When you're low on money, you should put it all on black.
I don't mind gambling a bit, but then, like, again, I wouldn't promote gambling.
But gambling is rife for my stream with the drift coin.
What I would say, though, right, not that I would promote gambling,
right,
but I would really strongly suggest you don't gamble on a sport you don't know. So never gamble on like a hockey game. If you don't ever watch hockey, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, but you know, it's just two teams, so surely it's a 50-50 odds.
Yeah, well, no, because there'd be different teams, favourites, not favourites.
It's just two teams, isn't it? 50-50 odds.
Oh no, we I'll tell you after stream what his name is.
Okay.
I get told off for name dropping, so I'm gonna try to stop doing it.
I name dropped. You can maybe name drop once, and then we'll we even.
Okay, well, Connor used to have a theory that everything was 50-50. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, it either happens or it doesn't. And I was like, I agree with that statement, but that does not mean it's 50-50.
I've had that argument with someone before, yeah. No.
It's probably Connor.
Yeah, you are right. Like, I understand that, like, yeah.
But one quote is right, but that quote is not the same as 50-50 because that's on a 50% chance.
Yeah, yeah. It's different to two outcomes is different to a 50% chance. Rolyhead remembers that. He was there. I think it was Connor. If we both had that argument with him, I mean, I feel like he might have had his brain melted.
I know where he was sort of coming from. He was like, it either happens or it doesn't. And then obviously the one he always got thrown at to him was, what about the lottery? And he was like, well, yeah, you either win it or you don't. And it's like, right, but that's saying something's either black or white or there's no grey area, you know?
Yeah, it is ignoring reality. But you know, he's sort of right. He's like, you know, it either happens or it doesn't. He's going the Yoda route, you know, there is do or do not. There is no try. So, which, you know, I like to live my life by that. Toby, what have you promised Rolyhead, by the way? Because he's asking for a Lewis Hamilton portion of the stream, and I don't know what he's on. Are we interviewing Lewis Hamilton?
Oh, did I get disconnected?
You did, yeah. I was waiting for your reply, and then I heard it. Ooh, you didn't. To be honest, I don't think there was too much dead air. You're all right. You got away with it.
That's all right. For a second, I was like, "Oh shit! Did Bobby disconnect?"
Oh, that'd be a nightmare.
No, what I sort of finished on that point. To be fair.
Okay. Ellie wants to hear the story of me being smacked. It was pretty lame. You know.
Right, build it up. Where in the world were you on a night out?
I went to Sheffield to see some of my uni friends. Dan was there, the legend.
The legend, the myth, the man himself.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. I feel like I might wake him up sometimes. If I wake up at like 3 a.m, I'm on my phone. I get really good memes at 3 a.m. Like, but they're always like real inspirational ones. I always send them to and like all like life quotes that I want to remember. I like send them to Dan, and then I'll think about. I'll look back through them, and then like when I do look back through them, I have like bare life lessons. So yeah, I'm basically his mentor, really. Shout out, Dan. He's doing well. He's got
a mustache.
He's 10 days clean of something. I'm under contract. I'm not legally obliged to tell you what it is.
No, so I was out with some friends, and one of our friends, she'd brought her sort of new boyfriend, person she was talking to, and we were in this bar, and there was this guy. He's probably about 18 or 19. His eyes were bulging out of his head, and he was like walking around talking to Becky, this girl, like all the women in the bar. He was like trying to talk to. He
So
was
he
on
was
drugs.
chatting to your missus, basically.
Yeah, and I didn't mind. He was chatting to me a bit and stuff. But Dan and this guy, that the girl had brought, they were like very hostile towards him, whereas I sort of was a bit more friendly. Anyway, he told me that he wanted to punch the guy that we brought along. So I thought, oh shit, I'll keep an eye on that. Anyway, I went up to the bar, and as I was ordering another Long Island iced tea, I turned around and saw the guy getting in the bug-eyed guy's face, and vice
So
versa.
getting into the face of the boyfriend of one of your friends.
Yeah. And so I thought, and the bug-eyed guy, had told me that he wanted to punch the boyfriend. So I was like, oh shit, I better do something. So I wandered over and I went, mate, calm down. And I don't think I even touched him. I think I kind of pushed the boyfriend away. I think I just turned to him, and as I said calm down, he open palm striked me in the jaw and basically exploded my lip, the inside of my lip, against my teeth as I was saying calm down. And cuts, like he must have had a ring on or something, because as he like kind of palm striked my jaw and his hand kind of flung across my face, it
did
cut.
look like the ring, like sort of like there was pressure like on your lip, and then when it's like moved across, it's like slit open the lip.
Yeah, it's taken like a chunk out of my lip, and it's kind of slit up the inside of my lip. But yeah, so basically, I turned to him. Allegedly, I didn't react, which the boyfriend and Dan thought was pretty hard. I was a little bit shook, I'm not gonna lie, and I kind of looked at him, and I just went, "Why?" And then my mouth exploded with blood. And the guy was looking me dead in the eyes as I was like bleeding everywhere, and I was looking at him, and then he just ran away. He just kind of walked
Yeah, because
off.
at that moment, like, doesn't mean like you don't react. Like, I think like Dan was right. Like, you by just sort of standing there playing it off, and it's sort of good role model out there for all you people. You know, be like Bobby.
Gotta
Take
play
the
it
hit
off.
to the face like a man.
It reminds me of, like, you know, when we used to have like penalty shootouts against each other, and you'd like fake a shot and go, "Oh, Bobby's cool as a cucumber," but actually I just couldn't react in time to even move.
Yeah, no. So for anyone out there, with Bobby, whenever like it'd be me, him, and Elliot playing like penalty shootout, and we'd sort of do like it would sort of go round in a circle. Like, so I would shoot against Bob, Bob would shoot against Elliot, Elliot would shoot against me, or something like that. And whenever you were shooting against Bobby, you could never do like a fakie or anything like that, because he would just never fall for it. And like you just think he was like cool, as he was saying, cool as a cucumber. Like you can never put it down the middle with Bobby. You can never like dink your shoulder and then Bobby jumps and dives and slides. Like you just sort of dink your shoulder, then move to the left or right, and then you'd be in an awkward position, hoping he'd sort of moved one side, and then you sort of like, and have to kick it at an awkward angle. So you sort of had to just go for power in like the bottom corner.
And you'd always score because I'm rubbish in goal. But, you know, there was a second you thought maybe I knew what I was doing. But I feel like it was that situation. But anyway, I was covered in blood, and I went into the toilet. The bar staff were really nice because it was in front of the bar. So they watched me basically go, "Mate, calm down," get smacked in the face, and then just wander into the bathroom. Apparently the guy tried to hide, and it was an empty bar. It wasn't like a nightclub. He tried to hide like behind a pillar.
What would have been brilliant is if he went to the toilet to hide, and you walk in, and he's like, "Oh shit!" He like runs to the cubicle, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, yeah. He comes in with me, and he got kicked out. I mean, no one punched him on my behalf. I do think that was good, because I feel like if we gotten into a scuffle, one, he was on drugs. I don't know if you could knock him out, especially as I've been drinking since like midday.
Well,
And it was in the
yeah,
evening.
but just because you've been on drugs doesn't mean that's like being knocked out. Like he'd be a lot off balance. You just have to hit him.
Yeah.
All you'd have to do, don't think about power. Just make sure that your hand connects with him, and he'd hit the floor.
Yeah. Like he would be off
Or,
balance, just like a drunk person.
exactly. Or literally let him swing and deck himself. Like if somebody's in that sort of state. I've actually got a story similar related to this. After, remind me, because I'll forget.
Okay, but so anyway, I feel like if we'd fought him, he would have. Well, we all would have been kicked out, and I was covered in blood. But luckily, they gave me ice and stuff. They gave me a T-shirt to change into. The shirt got washed, and it doesn't have any blood in it now. So it worked out really well. But the issue is, I have a big scab on the side of my mouth, and it was a little bit hard to talk.
You've got herpes.
It does a little bit. Yes, it does.
Actually, disclaimer for anyone who doesn't know Bobby, he's actually a massive joker. What actually happened is he's gone out, hasn't he, and caught herpes.
No, I was just knocked out.
I'm just playing it off. He was knocked out, injected with herpes.
Yeah. It was literally the lamest thing that could happen.
It happened to the best of us.
Right, Toby, come on. When was the time you fought a guy on drugs? It seems like he has disconnected just as he's telling a story. I bet he's still talking right now. So I'll read out some of the comments. So Bobby has an STD from Witten. Road ahead. You are the Vichy government in Nazi Germany occupied France. And he is the humble Channel Islands. Okay, well, yeah, you're like Jersey and Guernsey. You're occupied by Witten. This is because Witten is timing out everyone. Toby, you're back. You have to start that story again.
Sorry, should I start again?
Yeah, start again.
I swear my Wi-Fi does not like me telling stories. It's all right when you're telling stories.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have to type what to say. Cricket.
Wait, before you tell your story, Toby, I'm going to recount the time that you got punched in front of me and Elliot. So we were all sat in this sort of park area. None of us live there anymore. So
wait, hang on, bro. You gotta build it.
Okay, well you tell it then.
Right. Okay. Well, you sort of I'll sort of build you up to where you started from.
Okay.
Right. So it was Monmouth Festival, was the biggest free festival in Europe. So big things going on in Eton Town. And basically, how old are we? 15, 16?
Yeah, about 16, I think.
Yeah, we were definitely. It was in year 11. And we went out. We're walking around town, blah blah blah, and then we walked down. We sat by this wall, and when we sat by the wall, if you look to your right, there was about 10 meters away from us was one oak tree with a bench all the way around it, and then about 10 meters away from that one was another oak tree with a bench all the way around it, and there was somebody stood there, and then we were sat on the wall. So we were like 20 meters away from him in total, and we were sat there and we were chatting away, and then we went and sat by the other bench. I think we were waiting for like Connor to come meet us or something to go play football or something.
Yeah, we were.
And yeah, and then do you want to go from there?
So we'd been hanging around there. I hadn't seen him, but I think it turned out Elliot had seen this guy and had been staring. We wandered over to that circular bench, and this guy approached us. He kind of did it sheepishly. We didn't really know what he was doing, so we were all kind of sat.
And you and Elliot were sat on the bench.
Yeah, and Toby was stood in front of us, like gesticulating with his hands, telling us probably
as I love
story.
To do, as the audience will be able to see once the camera's sorted. That is incoming. I've got the setup ready. I just need to get the camera and mic, and then I'm done.
Yeah,
So I
then
know
you'll be
it
able
sounds
to
like
show.
I've got a lot to do, but
Yeah. So Elliot's admitting that he was staring at him for a while. So no wonder the guy was booked out. But the guy approached us and he initiated the conversation, and it didn't quite come across that he wanted to fight one of us. Like, we were all kind of looking at him. We were all a bit, we were all a bit on edge. And
didn't he ask us if we were like from here or we've come down?
no, he went, "Are you waiting for someone?" I don't know why he asked that. I guess it was because.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. He was like, "Oh, are you waiting for someone?" We just all looked at each other and was like, "Oh no," and then he was like, "Oh right, yeah." And then there was sort of a bit of a silence, and then he goes, "I haven't got a problem with you." Looks at Bobby. He went, "I haven't got a problem with you." Looks at Elliot. He went, "I've got a problem with you," and looks at me. And then as he says that, I turn and look at Bobby like dead in the eyes, and I was like, "Typical." And then as I did that, he went over to like grab my shirt to pull me in and like hook me. But as he went to pull me in, I sort of moved back a bit, managed to like, he didn't get to grab hold of my shirt. He swung a punch, and I sort of like went to like move out the way, but obviously, because I wasn't really like looking at him, he hit me like behind the ear, like on the neck, and like honestly, right, I'm gonna say this bit, and Bob, you can back me up. I literally did a backward roll and popped onto my feet like a karate kid.
Yeah, so from mine and Elliot's point of view, there was like a little scuffle. We didn't even have time to stand up. There was like a scuffle. The guy kind of threw a lazy punch. It looked like it missed Toby, but it did collide with the sort of back of his head as he ducked. Toby kind of tripped over himself, rolled, did a backwards roll, and landed on his feet, like, and just popped up. The guy immediately stopped his attack, kind of looked at Toby, looked at us all, and then began backing away slowly while saying, "Yeah, you better run." Even though none of us had moved, Toby was still stood in his like ready position from popping up. And that was
and he was like 24, 25.
He was significantly
like
older.
He wasn't necessarily massively scarily dominant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he wasn't that much bigger than us. I remember it was very
weird.
Like
more of like crackhead vibes.
Yeah. And then we later in that night we ran into him again, and we were a bit like, "Oh, like what do we do?" And we knew this semi-professional boxer.
Well, he's now professional.
He's now professional, and we knew him, and we managed to recruit him on our side. He's still undefeated.
I mean, he got him to apologize. He hugged me, saying sorry.
Yeah, so we were like confronting him again, and then we had like this professional at the time amateur, but kind of renowned amateur boxer, threatened to beat him up.
My older brother, me, you, Elliot, and then we were all around him, and then like. The boxer was there, like, I think you need to apologise. And then the guy sort of like called over to his mate. And then we all sort of like glanced over at his mate to sort of see him running in. And like he was getting started on by this huge rugby player.
Yeah,
so we were a bit like, it looks like your mate's a bit busy.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird night. It was definitely a weird one.
But yeah, and what had happened this Sunday, not as exciting as that, more funny.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm going down to work. It's like a 15, 20-minute walk down to the bus, but it's literally just a straight line, right?
Right.
So I'm walking down, and towards the end of it, there's a spoon. And I'm walking down, and I've got my backpack on, and I sort of swing my backpack to one shoulder, and I've unzipped it, and I've took my backy out.
Right.
So I can like access the front of my bag, get the filters, Rizzlers, put it back in, zip it up, and then while still walking.
Yeah.
And as I sort of go to do that, this guy, this bit I'm still a bit cloudy on. He either like stood up from the floor or like came out of spoons, and he just like all of a sudden I realised we were walking shoulder to shoulder. So I was there like, that's a bit weird. So you know, usually when you're walking wherever you are, unless you're walking with that person, if you're walking shoulder to shoulder, it's like an unwritten rule that one of you will speed up a little bit, the other one will slow down a second, so you don't have to walk next to each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
That is a weird situation.
Yeah, I sped up, and then so did he. And like the guy's just staring at me, right, this whole time.
Right.
And I start to speed up, and then I see he's speeding up, and then I think in my head, like, oh shit, maybe he's more of it in a rush. So I sort of let him, I go to do the courtesy thing of slowing down to let him speed off, yeah?
Yeah.
I slowed down, and then he started to slow down. And then I was like, that's a bit weird. And then like I sort of stopped for a second, then he stopped, he edged closer to me. I was like, what? And then I sort of walked a little bit again. He started to walk. I stopped. He stopped. And I was like, right, yeah, no, he's definitely following me.
Yeah.
Like I did like triple check. And then I sort of looked at him, and then there was like a meter, probably about a meter between us, a meter and a half between us. Then he came about half a meter closer.
Yeah.
And then he just like all of a sudden just went from standing still to quickly like swung his arm to grab my bag.
Right.
And then I sort of moved back, and like he sort of missed. Then he swung for me, and he missed probably by like half a meter. Then went that with his right hand. Then he went to swing with his left hand. And well, I didn't really have to move far because that also was about half a meter away. Because he hadn't moved his feet and was like all over the place. Like he was definitely like drunk from the night before, still out.
What do you think he was doing? What was his plan, do you reckon?
I don't really know. So then anyways, then I was like, well, then I started to like slowly like I sort of like slowly jogged a bit, and he started like jogging with me, and then I thought, fuck that, so I just sped up my jog a little bit, and then after about 5 seconds, I think he realised that like it wasn't going to happen. Like, so I just looked at him and was like, I wasn't worried at all, but I had to go to work, and then as he stopped running, he was there like, you pussy. And I was there like, what? I was there like, I got to go to work, and like, what do I gain by fighting you? Like, you get to maybe gain some baccy or my bag, or I was there like, I got shit to do.
Yeah, that is very funny. Why do they always yell, you pussy, like you better run? Even when the situation does not need it. You don't need to say it. I didn't say it to the guy when he ran away from me on the weekend.
Well, I was about to say, I always feel like that's what they're thinking they are, so they just sort of say that you are.
Yeah, they just don't want to admit it to themselves.
It was just so weird, and then like, so anyways, I get to the like, I sort of just keep the sort of jog up till I get to the bus stop. That was literally like just another like 15-20 seconds. And I'm thinking to myself, I get to the bus stop, and I'm there like, what am I going to do if he comes around the corner? Because I ain't leaving the bus stop.
Yeah.
Like, and I literally, in my head, I was there like, will I get fired if I say I get attacked? Have I got attacked on the way to work? So I had to scrap. And then, yeah, but he never came around the corner. But, and then it was only when I was like, I got on the bus, I sat there, and then I put my headphones in, and then I just went, what the fuck was that?
That is wild.
And also, this is just whilst I'm on about things that had happened to me, and then we can go on to other stuff. Is I know that I told you about it, but the other week we were talking on the pod about the possibility of animals attacking, and I believe we came up with birds were the most feared.
Yeah, birds could do the most damage to humanity.
Okay,
we decided.
So after we said this, I then found a video and sent it to Bobby and Ewan, and it was a woman and a man trying to get in their house, and there was a bird sort of guarding it. Not really much of a big deal, but still the start. Anyways, I go to harmlessly go shop on my day off, and I'm thinking, I get into town, I'm thinking, oh, a bit peckish I am. So walk into Greg's, get my Greg's, and I was chilling with Emily, and fucking a Emily's my friend. She's like 5'3" or something like that. And
Pretty big then.
we were like walking, and all of a sudden, I take a bite of my pizza, and then I look at her, and then this seagull comes like over my shoulder, flapping. I can feel it flapping, hitting my head, and it like bites into my pizza. I was like, what the fuck? I like turned around, like push it away. Then there was like another 4 there. They sort of came at me, and I just went, nah, fuck that. Literally just threw the pizza and just ran.
I can't believe you gave them the pizza. You gave up to the birds. You let the birds win, Toby.
Mate, I'm not risking my eyes getting pecked out for a little slice of Greg's pizza.
Greg's pizza is good. Witten's judging your purchase of the Greg's pizza. It is okay. I haven't had it in a while.
I just needed something a little bit to snack on, bro. That's all.
And Elliot likes the fact that you use the word peckish when describing an encounter with birds. However, that was 100% intentional. I want to put it on now. We are comedy geniuses. Toby is.
Yeah, 100%. Any little hidden Easter eggs you ever find in these pods are 100% sealed, delivered, and signed.
Yeah, they are pretty good. Toby, what are your top 3 Greg's items that you'd buy?
Ooh. What that I buy, or yeah,
that you would buy, yeah. Calorie wise,
pizza, and then probably a pink donut and a jam donut.
Okay, you went sweet there. I was just thinking savoury. Witten saying steak bakes and sausage rolls.
Drake is overrated for the savoury shit. Like me, I haven't had a sausage roll from there in a while, but I remember the last time I like walked out of Greg's and was like, that sausage roll was slapping.
The vegan ones are pretty good. Mine would be vegan sausage roll, steak bake.
Do you remember when you went through that phase?
What, the vegan phase?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was vegan for several years. A few years. 2, 3-ish.
That's still several, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know. I don't know what makes something several. Vegan sausage roll, anyway.
If I drop a glass more than one time, I've dropped it several times.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've also dropped it multiple times, and I've also dropped it a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, a couple is 2. I've had this argument with someone at rowing. They were trying to claim that a couple could mean 3, but 3 is definitely a few. That's when it hits a few. Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. A 2 can be quite a few different things, but when you go higher up, they can't be as many. Like you said, a 3 can't be a couple, but a 3 can be multiple and a few, and...
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it here.
Right,
so,
what's it saying?
Marquette University Law School has defined it.
University. Are we really going to fucking... They're even a real university.
They're prestigious, okay? That's where I got my degree from.
They are not Marquette University.
No, Marquette.
Oh,
Marquette. Marquette. It's like market.
I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but can you spell it to me?
Marquette.
Oh, you fucking confused me now.
Marquette University says that a few means somewhere between 3 and 5. Several means around 7, but as approximate. Half a dozen, and then the baker's dozen is 13. That's what we got. Several is more than 3. Witten agrees.
How is half a dozen 13? I thought a dozen eggs is 12 eggs.
Yeah, half a dozen is 6, and a baker's dozen is 13.
Yeah, so why is it different for eggs?
No. If you had 13 eggs, it would be a baker's dozen. A baker's dozen it was like in Victoria, England, it used to be like illegal.
Just added an extra one?
Yeah. So what they'd do is a baker would add an extra like loaf of bread if you ordered 12, because if you could prove that they undersold you, they'd get in trouble and get sued. So they'd always give you like an extra thing on the dozen because of some weird law.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a little fact.
You know what? A bit of a weird tangent I went down the other day.
Right.
Of banned baby names.
Oh, they're banned. There's banned baby names.
There are banned baby names. If you can get it up, bro, and then read through some of the countries, mate, it's actually like obviously Adolf is banned in a few countries, but there's I can't remember what country it is, but there's one of them. They have like 16 names, and some of them are just hilarious.
Okay. What a thing
Like
over
you just
here.
wouldn't think. You think why would someone want to name other than you're not allowed to in other countries? What happens if you're the say if your name is like okay, so Bobby. Say
Yeah.
Bobby is banned in Sweden. Are you allowed to become a Sweden citizen?
I guess. I don't know. It must
But if
be.
the name's banned, like
So
you wouldn't really could you really get a job in Germany if your name was Adolf?
yeah, I mean, there
But
is.
then you could say that's discrimination.
Yeah, you could. There was a guy in an African country who was called Adolf Hitler. I remember it was on the news. Like he got elected
that is
president.
just- why would they like if you have the last name Hitler? Why would you just go? You know what? I read the first name.
Yeah, look, hang on, I'll get it up.
But
I've got some of the
saying
illegal
that-
names.
Saying that, mate, if you like heard like all of the names of like the Russian prime ministers or whatever,
What, like Vladimir Putin?
yeah, then all the ones before him, like they're all like related or something. Well, they all sound very similar.
They do, yeah.
I think some of them are
Lenin.
related, like two of them in a row are related.
I don't know if they're related. I think they just have very similar sounding names. It was Namibia.
I think it was like father and son.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. A man named Adolf Hitler wins local election. That's pretty wild there.
The thing is,
Namibia.
you just vote for.
It'd be a laugh, wouldn't it? You'd have to vote for him.
This is really off topic, right? But I want to know your opinion on this. So I was watching an episode of The Office the other day, and it
Right.
made me. And basically, in the episode, they're doing a costume.
Hello? Did we lose him? I think Toby's gone down. So while Toby recovers his internet, I will read out some illegal baby names in the UK.
Hang on,
Oh, are you back on?
my thought process has completely went now.
Oh, it was his brain, not his internet. What? So The Office, and it was a costume costing.
So it was a costume contest of Halloween.
Oh
And
yeah,
then, and then what you had to do was the winner was decided by somebody voting, but you couldn't vote for yourself, but everyone had to vote.
yeah.
And basically, the Spanish guy, oh my god, what's his name? It's not
Oscar.
not Oliver.
Oscar.
Yeah, so I see. I knew it was Oliver. No, Oscar.
He's Mexican. They're Americans. Remember,
Yeah.
he's not Spanish. But yeah,
it's
close.
Yeah, that was error. That was connection. I meant to say Mexican.
yeah.
Basically, he doesn't really take part in the contest, but he sort of like puts a real shit costume together. Anyways, when they do it, everyone when they're getting interviewed has all said that they voted for him because they didn't want to vote anyone else they thought might win.
Yeah.
So that's how he ended up winning it, and then it was his plan all along.
Yeah.
And it made
Exactly.
me think.
That can
do you
happen.
think if we like out of our like group of like lad friends and stuff, do you think that would reverse psychology would work with us?
I think it would, definitely. I don't know if we're tactical enough though. I mean, I'd vote in like earnest. I'd vote for whoever I thought had the best costume. But if we were all being like sly with it, then maybe.
What do you think's better, like a good costume or good makeup?
I don't know. I think probably a good costume, I'd say. What, we're talking Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, good costume, I think. Or good makeup, I guess, is more versatile.
Well, and the thing about the good makeup, you can sort of dress sort of how you want if you have the right makeup. Like last year, I completely fucked it. I didn't even know what I went as. Like I just had a red shirt, ripped it, threw loads of blood on it, and then ripped my sleeves off, and then tied my sleeves around my arms, and then decided I was Rambo.
Right.
And they were
Well,
like,
I
"Why are you
mean,
covered in blood?" And I was like, "Well, doesn't he kill bear people?"
he does. I'm sure he gets covered in blood in one of the films.
I didn't. I never even watched it, so.
Talking about they are good films. Talking about Rambo and Mexico, I've got illegal baby names in Mexico up here, and there's some
Right,
really
yeah.
silly ones. So the first one is Facebook. So you go, oh, weird one, but I guess that's okay. Then there's Batman, Hermione, Rambo, Terminator, James Bond is banned in Mexico. You can't call your child James Bond. Rolling Stone, Rocky. You got to get the big H in there, Hitler. And then Christmas Day, and then finally Burger King. You can't call your child Burger King.
But if you, it sounds like you can call them McDonald's. So if you're worried that you were going to move to Mexico and you were going to call your child Burger King, you can call them McDonald's.
My true name is Burger King though, so what do I do? I can't go to Mexico.
Isn't it mad what baby names are banned? Like when you actually search it.
Yeah, it's silly. In Saudi Arabia, you can't call your child Lauren or Linda or Alice. That's silly.
There was definitely some British girls that went over there and pissed them off. And they were like, right, that is it. No Laurens, no Lises.
In Denmark,
like,
it's
just random picking names.
No, in Denmark, it's illegal to name your child Anus. That one seems fair.
Good law, but I just think that that's not a law that you should need to have. Like, do not call your child Anus.
We won't write it on the birth certificate. We refuse. I'll
tell you what. Like, I think that might be our first. That could be our first decree as Game of Thrones. Is no. If you're gonna follow us, you can't name your child Anus.
No.
Like we will allow Adolf Hitler.
Yeah.
But not Anus.
Some of these are Nirvana is banned in Portugal for some reason. I wonder if they're
what's banned in the UK, man?
They're pretty lame ones in France. It's illegal to name your child Nutella. Apparently, Martian Monkey, Chow Tao, Rogue, and Akuma.
Why are people Why has there been a point where there's been these names that people have had, and literally they've looked at them and gone, "You know that can't, you can't call your son Nutella." And they're like, "Why?" They're like, "It's my favorite." Just think of an actual name, like.
They're like, get out of here. Apparently, New Zealand has the most banned baby names. Oh, so they're not quite. They're rejected. So apparently, countries can reject baby names. They can say, no, you're not calling your child that.
So these are all names in those countries that people have put forward and have been rejected, and now have been made like part of the law.
Yeah. Like there's precedent to reject them, so they will get rejected.
The thing is like that.
Nope. That sounded like Toby cut out there. It looks like it's just me. Elliot, Toby cannot see the chat. So you are right. He can't tell what's going on in the chat. So I could trick him like that, but I feel like that would go against the podcast thing. He's back. Hello.
I was here listening to you trying beg us about me.
I was explaining that Elliot's been trying to get me to prank you, and talking about how he tried to name Gracie baby child throat puncher. No, just throat puncher.
Throat puncher.
Throat punch. Child throat puncher is a better name. No, I always felt bad. In school when like people had on the register, it'd like swap your surname and your first name, so it'd be like Scott Bobby, and
Yeah.
then when some people would have ones like Large, their second name would be Large, so it'd just be like Large thingy, or there's probably other funny ones that I can't think of. Large Mike, large Bobby. That would just that'd write you off. That'd be permanent bullying right there.
I was talking earlier with Joe, one of my housemates as well, and we were talking about. He was there like, isn't it mad that like we think about bullying now? He was there like, think what it's going to be like in like 10, 15 years time when there's so many people's mums who've got OnlyFans.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Like you can say what you want about other people judging and stuff like that, but kids can be cruel. Like,
yeah, that would definitely suck. I overheard a discussion at work about it. It was happening just a bit too far away for me to join in the office. And
I'd have gone over and be like, look, I've already listened to most of it, so you might as well fill me in the rest of it off.
But and one of them was like, oh, the other kids already know. And I was thinking, OnlyFans though, isn't it? It's like a subscription. So is it likely that other people will find it? Like if your mum was on one of the classic porn sites,
yeah, but
where it's free, that they'd see it. But OnlyFans, they'd only see like promo stuff that they might upload. You know what I mean? Is he gone again? Does look like he might have gone. So
like, if somebody's got their mum or dad to pay their phone bill, and then they've got their card on there, like you hear about it all the time about kids fucking spending loads of money on like games and stuff like that, and being able to, they'll go and use their like mum or dad's account or older brother or sister's account to buy like a Call of Duty or something like that, and you can get they'd be able to get past that to like to use the money for it, and then all it takes is one person to do it, screenshot it, and send it to all group chats and stuff. Like, I think that I don't know.
It's true.
It's one of those things that I'm just a bit like, I don't know. Like, if you don't want kids, or if you got rid of it when, and by it I mean the OnlyFans account, if you got rid of it. Sorry, did I disappear again?
No, it's okay. Elliot's talking about replacing you though. If you go out again, he would do an impersonation of you.
Whoa, I don't know about that. I feel like there's some sneaky business going on.
But yeah, what were you saying about OnlyFans and stuff?
I was basically saying that I reckon that if they got rid of their OnlyFans account when the child was 3 or 4, they would still be okay. I think if you've had an OnlyFans account from like for the first like 16 or 15 years of their life, then it could be a problem.
Yeah, I guess OnlyFans burns out quick.
Years ago, if it was like 10 years ago and it wasn't like a famous account, as you said, and like they can delete their account, like.
Yeah. And I feel like as well, OnlyFans, it burns out quick. Like you don't stay OnlyFans famous if you don't keep posting and stuff.
Exactly. You've got to really basically put yourself out there and like do like stuff like loads of TikToks and different stuff like that, helping promote yourself, going on podcasts and shit. And like if you're doing that, there's one thing of like when somebody does like a webcam thing or something where they just do it once, twice, doing like a random name. Then when somebody else is like promoting it and like have got it all promoted on their like socials and stuff like that, because all it would take for you to find like add your mate on Facebook, like you go, oh, like who's he friends with? Click on the account, all of a sudden look at the Instagram, and all of a sudden see like a link tree thing, and then boom.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But obviously I'm not like sort of like judging it. I just sort of I find it interesting how it's all going to be done, because I wonder, because would be so normal, would it maybe not affect it as much?
Yeah, you'd think so, but at the same time, I feel like kids are always going to be really mean about it, aren't they?
Mm. No, but I just mean like, will they be able to deal with it better? Maybe because
Yeah, I guess with OnlyFans, you could kind of say that you're basically paying my mum, whereas if it was like on one of the free websites, then you're not directly paying for it. But at the same time, it's a pretty weak argument, I think, for
yeah, but I think there's
14-year-olds.
always been the conversation about porn stars that are on the free websites, but then at the same time,
Yeah.
I've watched quite in my time. I've watched a few porn videos, and I
Yeah.
could I could definitely walk past a girl that I've watched in a video and not know.
Yeah, I don't get that. Some guys like know loads of porn stars just like off
And
by heart.
they're like,
Like they're
oh, what do you think
footballers.
about blah blah blah? And I'm like, who? I'll be there like, I'm not gonna sort of obsess over one person that you're not actually with, because, but it was like I was saying to you though, I sort of like started doing like the no fap again, but not really as much more of a challenge, more just not doing it like sort of just if I'm bored or something, and making sure there's like at least like 4 or 5 days between it or something, because I realised that my mental health it gets a lot more better than you're actually up for talking to people and going and like putting yourself out there. But if you doing it all the time, you don't really have as much of a drive.
Yeah. It definitely is about like sort of like measuring and controlling your urges, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, obviously I was saying about like the effect like it has like on you like mentally. I was actually going to ask you that, obviously, with how much you're like up for saying like what sort of experiences you've had like with mental health, because like, I feel like people like talk about it a lot, but they generalize it in the sense of always trying to be safe, in the sense of going, oh well, lots of people feel like this, but there are some people that don't feel like that, and this, that, or the other. So I'm not necessarily asking like on a big scale. I'm more asking on like you personally, or even people that you know and think, not just hypothetical people. Like I'd be curious if there's been any similar situations between us, because obviously everyone goes through stuff, and people deal with it in different stuff. They got different things to deal with and have different tool sets.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've definitely had a wide range of experience. I've definitely been very low sometimes, and then
But
usually my baseline.
I would say that you sort of hide it very very well, because like usually if like me or any of the other boys are talking about you, we're sort of like, oh yeah, Bob, like he's like doing good. Like very rarely will I ever talk to you and then go, how have you been? And you will go, oh, not good. Like very rarely you will actually turn around and be like, oh, not good. Do you know what I mean? Like even when you've been like ill or you haven't been feeling like great, you'll still be like, yeah, but like I'm quite like good. You sort of always had like a fairly strong mentality with that.
I think it's probably more of like a weakness though, because I don't really ask for help or really share too much, which is fine most of the time, because most of the time you don't feel I don't feel horrendous.
Why do you think that is? Because I always find it really interesting talking to other people about it, because like as you know, I'm a very open person. Like if
Yeah.
I've got a problem, I will not, like, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of times I do hesitate to ask for help and stuff, but on the whole, I've never really like I've there's been lots of stuff that I've got in trouble with being too proud of myself and like
Yeah.
being too for my pride. But like oh my god, where was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that.
Pride's a bit prideful, you said, and like oversharing. Not oversharing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Sharing.
like
You're the
but
other way
like
to me.
when it's come to oversharing, I've never like had too much pride in sort of asking my mates for help or telling my mates when I'm not good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's probably a strength. I feel like with me, it might be perceptions of weakness, it might be embarrassment, I don't know, or feelings of, undeserving, you
But
know.
the way I see it is, I'm all like I always sort of think I'm like the amount of favors that Bobby could pull in on me would be like man. Do you know what I mean? But like, I've got quite a few. There are like some friends that you can help out more than others, but like there are like a few friends in life where they have definitely helped me out a lot more than I've been able to help them out. And it's quite weird because like I've had like people before be there like, oh, I know to like they'd be like, oh Toby, I know that if you had the money or whatever, that you would be doing the same, or if you were driving, you would have given me a lift here or there or whatever. Um because obviously I like to try and have like a balance of 50-50. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I
Yeah,
almost feel like there would be a happy medium ground to sort of be.
I also find that I don't really like the attention it draws. I don't like people feeling, and again, it might be I don't like being perceived as like weak, maybe deep down, but I also just don't like too much attention being given to me. But and it just doesn't come naturally to me, to talk to somebody. But I think that's probably why I'd definitely say it's a strength of yours that you're willing to talk to all your friends and stuff. How about you, Toby? What are your thoughts on it? How has your mental health journey been?
Um, it's sort of been quite weird because I go through really highs and lows in the sense of like I can go from when I was like younger, sort of feeling like king of the world in some aspects, but in other aspects failing miserably. And I've always sort of had that where like I'd always sort of live a bit of a double life, and like one of my lives would always go well and the other life wouldn't. And like I don't know, as you sort of get older, it's quite an odd one. Like I was talking to my friend about it the other day, and she was there like, oh, she was like, I don't really think about it. She's like, I realize that when I go home, if I'm like home alone, she's like, I can just zone out and I won't think about messaging other people. She's like, but it's taken me a while to realize like that is how your brain will work. You will go, right, I'm alone now. Like, realistically, I wish that I could be chilling with my mates, but obviously I can't just go meet them because we've all got like different lives going on. So I'll give them a phone call because then you still have that little bit of bonding time chilling, and I find if you talk regularly you can actually talk more about what's going on, but the longer you leave it the more you get to a chat of yeah nah no you know how things are, same old, and you're there like, oh, you're not really telling me anything though. Like you could always just say same old, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I sort of will like to know about like different stuff, but I don't know. It is sort of thing because obviously people say about like like men's mental health and like men talk, but like in my head, it was so confusing because for ages I was like, what are they on about? Men do talk, and then I'm like boys, don't we all talk? And then they're like, well, no, and I'm like, oh shit, like I realized that it's not as common as I thought for people to be like as talkative about it. So that's why I think I'm like, oh shit, do I overshare?
Yeah, I do. I just think I think your way of approaching it is pretty good because whenever I've been really sort of on the depression side of things, I just stop doing anything. I don't really talk. I don't, and that makes it worse because what ends up happening is you go, oh, I haven't seen anyone, or I haven't been out in ages, or like I haven't had a good day in like the past 2 weeks. But then you just can't bring yourself to do anything to change it. But that makes you feel worse about yourself when you look back on it. You
It,
look, another day goes by, you look back and you think, oh, fucking hell, I didn't do anything Wednesday. I didn't do anything Thursday. It's Friday now. I've got no plans. I've not talked to anyone all week, and it just builds up, and it really just gets on top of you. But I think by talking to someone like you do, like Toby calls me about once a week, It probably would call me more if he could. Uh,
But like that's the thing is I sort of I I need people to be very transparent with me because if I'm calling and like people are like, oh sorry, I just missed you or whatever, I'm like, oh okay, I can call you again. But like if people tell me, oh like I'll sort of know when I can talk to people and when I can't. Like there'll be friends that I'll be there like I know that they're not going to appreciate me calling every few days because not every friendship's the same.
yeah.
And I was there like it's really weird. I was like, there's some friends that I will chat to daily, but like or like every other day. But then there are when something like big happens, I usually end up messaging my friends who I don't talk to as often.
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, oh, this is like big enough news that I can go and speak, go and talk to them and stuff like that. Like, but I don't know about you, but I have found since doing the pod that one, it's quite good that we always get to have a catch up, and two, I've realised that there are lots of times me and you are on the phone, and I'm there like, I really want to tell you this, but I'm going to leave it for the pod.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think the podcast has been quite fun for that sort of thing because you mentioned at the beginning that you started like looking at situations differently. Like you've been looking for like things to talk about on the pod rather than just looking at it as like normal life. Which I guess
exactly, and like I've really I saw it's not like a meme, it's like a little short video, right? And it basically said like it was a guy like talking and he was there like a person who goes through life, you know, not looking at the cashier, not talking to anyone, always got head down, grumpy, doing this, blah blah blah, never interacting with anyone, thinks that one day they're gonna be in line at a shop, they're going to see this beautiful girl, and then all of a sudden they're going to be this really chatty, flirty, happy person. It's like, and then they said you sort of just got to flirt with the world, and then like when they said that, I was like, oh, I actually sort of like I get that, and it doesn't necessarily mean like flirt with everyone, but like flirt with any like opportunities, like anything that sort of comes up, sort of like yeah, I sort of can do it. Like I'm one of those people that if you go, oh, what are you doing on blah blah blah? I'll be there like, I'm not too sure, but I can probably squeeze it in. Do you know what I mean? Because I like taking opportunities and stuff like that, and I think that's why I used to always like going missing on nights out and stuff like that. Like as soon as I sort of got drunk, I'd be like, oh, what's down there? Go out there, and I'll be like, oh, beer garden, blah 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 blah. Like, oh, is that so and so? Walk in, like, oh no, I'll be like, you look like so and so. Like, you don't know who so and so is, blah blah blah. I'll be like, let me show you a photo. Then all of a sudden, I'm on a different side quest. You know?
yeah, it is a bit of a nightmare sometimes. I also walk away sometimes on nights out, although I do it more just to like disappear into the crowd. I don't know why I do it.
Do you know what, Bobby? I feel like you're on like a yellow card on going out because what I still haven't forgot what you did to me at McDonald's. That was criminal.
What did I do in
Right.
McDonald's?
We ordered a McDonald's, right? And I'd had quite a bit to drink, and I was focusing on not being sick. But I was like, I will want this McDonald's. Anyways, I'm just gonna go sit outside and like get some fresh air. So I'm like sat outside, and then anyways, I come back in, and I open my Big Mac box, and he's fucking eaten the top bun, like nothing else but the top bun. And I was like, "What did you do?" And you were like, "Oh, I didn't think you were gonna come back and eat it." And I was like, "Well, one, like, why did you think that?" I said I was gonna come back, and then like we were all very drunk, by the way. And then I was like, "But you've just taken the bun, the top bit of the bun. Why?" Like,
Look, it was calculated, I'm sure. I can't remember why I did that.
do you remember the conversation I had with the Uber driver on the way back?
No, I can't remember that either.
We were in the Uber. I asked Becky. I think she'll remember. And I basically said to him, I was like, look, random question, but would you rather lose your hands or your feet?
No, I do remember you saying that. Yeah.
And like, and then I was there, and then I think like you, I was like, oh, sorry, like we were like trying to. He was like, oh no, it's fine. Like this is like quite an interesting conversation. And like we like proper went into it. I was there like, because like, can you drive without feet? Can you drive without hands? I was like, would you maybe do one hand, one foot? And then I was like, what would you do? Would you keep your right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot? I was like, would you go all like left foot, left hand, or like right? You know what I mean? Would you go all right, all left, mix it up? Like, mate, I'd probably fry in this guy's head.
You definitely were. He was not ready for that chat. It was very entertaining though.
He probably
It was
saw us
good.
stumbling in. He went, "Oh, they're full asleep."
Yeah, or Chun.
And waffling away.
Right. So Toby, if you had to lose either 2 hands or 2 feet, which one would you go for?
What? Like tonight?
Yeah. I'm thinking feet. I'd have to lose my feet. I do too much stuff with my hands. Is he gone again, or is he thinking?
No, I'm thinking. I'm gonna go. I think I'd get rid of my hands.
Did you get rid of your hands? That's crazy, Toby.
Yeah, because I'd still be able to play football, and I'd still be able. I'd still be able to box. I'd just put like a prosthetic thing in the boxing glove.
Yeah, I guess, but would that be cheating? Regards to boxing.
I'll be like, how is that cheating? You've got 2 more hands than me.
Yeah, and they'd be like, well, you've just attached like a mace to the end
I'll
of
be
your
there like, if you want, I'll be like, look, if you want to postpone the fight for 6 months, then chop your hands off. Then be my guest. I'll be there like, I had to do it for the Game of Bros.
Yeah. This is
like,
final, by the way.
Now.
Witten's pointing out that if I lost my feet, if I lost 2 feet, I'd be 4'2", which isn't 100% accurate, but I'll let it lie. I'll let it lie.
How big are your feet?
No, he was talking about feet as in the
they
measurement.
give you a lot of height.
Yeah,
oh,
they do.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. No, I'm. I saw a comment the other day, and it was something. Do you know what? Actually, it was something about. It was like a woman, and there was some like writing on there, and then like people were like trying to do like chat up lines, and then this guy like written in the comments, "I've got a foot long," and then he went ... Well, smells like one.
That is gross.
I was like, that's brilliant.
The Subway smell is kind of nice though. I haven't had a Subway in ages.
What are you on about?
A foot long is a Subway sandwich. That's what he's implying.
No.
But it's his dick and it smells like one.
No, he's saying that he said, he's there like, my dick a foot long, and then he went, well, it smells like one. So instead of saying that his dick was a foot long, he was saying that his dick smelled like feet.
Oh, I thought it was talking about a Subway sandwich foot long.
Well, right, chat. Who do you think's right, me or Bobby? Because I think I'm right.
Yeah. Well,
no, yeah, because if you're saying you're there like, oh, it's a foot long, you're like, well, it smells like one.
Right, the chat is saying that I'm right.
Well, the chat doesn't really know what it's on about, does it really?
That is true. Roadiehead is saying that he has no idea what you're talking about, but he's saying that I'm right, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it.
I'll have to yield on that one.
Becky said that she'd think of a sandwich. Witten doesn't even know what's going on. This is just in. This is news right now. Little Tay may have died.
Should I say the comment again?
Right, say it again.
So this girl was saying about chat up lines, and the guy said, "Oh, you're like me because mine's a foot long." Well, and then it was like ... Well, it smells like one.
I was thinking Subway sandwich.
Yeah, and I'm saying that he was like joking around at first, saying that his dick was a foot long, and then he was like, "Wow, it smells like one." Sort of saying that, well, because it smells like a foot long, foot like it's a foot long.
Toby thinks it smells like feet. I think he's saying it smells like a Subway, which I was saying
Yeah.
is quite nice. I've googled it. I think Little Tay might be dead.
Who the fuck's Little Tay?
She has died.
Who's Little Tay? R.I.P.
Toby, rip Little Tay. Just in. This is breaking news. This is 2 hours ago. The news articles I'm reading 2 hours ago. Breaking news on the Game of Rose podcast. Poor Little Tay, 14 years old, has died.
Yeah.
That's
Who was that though?
I feel like this person doesn't know who Little Tay is because they said the rising rapper's death. I don't think she was a rapper. Was she a rapper? Teen internet rapper. Like, when was her last rap video?
Who is she? Is that Will Smith's daughter?
No, it's this fucking X app.
Do you mean
Oh
Twitter?
my goodness. Yeah. It's so dumb.
Don't convert, Bob.
I'm not converting.
Don't call it X. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna look at my X, because that just looks weird, doesn't it?
It does. Well, she's rapping with the Angels now. I don't know if it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed that she's died, but it seemed she did disappear off the internet.
You know, my dyslexia has its moments, right?
Right.
Do you want to hear about my worst dyslexia moment? And unfortunately, I'm not going to mention. I won't mention his name. But
Yeah.
We were working, and he was like washing the dishes, right? And then I said, "Blah blah blah is repping KP." It is repping the kitchen.
Okay.
But I accidentally misspelt it.
Okay.
And I said so and so to say if it was you, Bob.
Yeah.
It would be
you
like
didn't say raping, did you?
Yeah. Bob raping in the kitchen.
God damn it.
And they were looking at me in the video. They're just looking at it like bopping their head to like heavy metal, throwing their hands in the air.
Oh my god.
That was on my story for like 3 hours.
That is a classic.
Yeah.
Oh, Toby, that's not even the first time someone's misheard you or you've misspelt something and it's come out as raping. God damn it.
Yeah, no, I'm not very like my misspelling gets me in all sorts of trouble. Do you know what? I don't know if I said this on the pod or not before, but I feel like it's one of these stories that because I've just thought about it. But if Elliot is listening still, he'll remember this. Is when I was I think I have told this before, but when I was about 15, 16, whenever it would tell me it's so and so's birthday, if it was a girl I thought was attractive, or even not even that, like I would just say happy birthday, and I'd beat their like best friends that would like post paragraphs. But happy birthday. I'd be like, yeah, I'm first. Anyways, it came up once, and I had a bit to drink, and and I posted happy birthday, have a great day, right? Just a classic. Right. That was a classic thing I said to pretty much everyone. I pretty much still say it now. If I'm saying happy birthday to someone, I'll be like, happy birthday, have a good one.
Pretty harmless.
And I bumped into Elliot like when we were in school, and he was there like, Toby, and I was like, yeah, and he went, why did you comment on like a girl in our school's dead horse's face to face? And I was like, you what? And he's like, yeah. He was like, I looked at it, and it was a page she had for her, and then she died 2 years ago. And I said, happy birthday. Have a great day.
Toby, for God's sake, yeah, that's another dyslexia moment. I think you didn't quite. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's just a
You know
Toby
what?
moment.
And I'm pretty sure that girl hated me. And yeah, and that was around the time that my Facebook got hacked, and I just didn't know how to unhack myself. So for about a month straight, I was sending people stuff about weight loss.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that, Bob? Like, I
Yeah, yeah.
it was sending it to like all these girls, and then I'd be there like, well, obviously I didn't send it. Like, I'll be there like, and then send it to like, all sorts of people, and like, it was it was that was long.
That I can't. Yeah, that I can. I didn't even know that happened, Toby. That's so funny. God damn.
Oh,
Right.
what one last thing I was going to ask you to do with the mental health,
Oh yeah.
right? Is do you think if you got I'm not going to say semi-famous. I'm like if you got very popular online with your account Drifty BGS. If you're not following him, drop him a follow. Um, if you start
Thank you.
getting even more successful with that, like onto like let's say you were on like 10,000, right?
Right.
And then say if Game of Bros was also, let's say if it was on like 6,000,
Yeah.
like something ridiculous like that, would you think that that would have any impact on your mental health? Because it's
Uh.
not like we're not talking like fame.
Yeah. Yeah. But like notoriety, but like it all becomes a bit more important. I think definitely because it would begin to get in the way of sort of job. You know what I mean? Where
But
like
do you think it would be? Do you think it would have a good effect or a bad effect? Because like personally for me, like, I know obviously like you'd have to worry about the extra stress and all of that, but for me, I would it would make me feel like I had more of a purpose in the sense of you're doing something
yeah.
like doing something that more people are enjoying. Like, I'd rather have like 10 viewers who are actually interested in what we're saying than like 40 viewers that are just in and out, are not really interested. I'd rather like have a better product and not produce as much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I
And
know
I
what
think
you
that's
mean.
why it sort of works with us. Like, obviously, we are going to probably hope we'll let you know if it's going to be next Wednesday or not. But we are going to try and do these mini pods more often because we did say we were going to start them, and they're meant to be every other Wednesday. That we're not doing the main pod, and then they will be a bit shorter, maybe like a game or something, or we'll have maybe just like one topic that we'll go into a little bit more. Like if we wanted to talk about some of the stuff that's sort of going on in and around the world. But
Yeah.
do you know any other news going around the world?
No, not really. I mean, I'm still
Oh,
shook by
did
little
you watch
Tay's death.
the? Sorry, what do you say?
Little Tay's death, and a brother apparently died. That's very sad.
How did they die?
Of natural causes, they said, but I don't know. It seems kind of suspicious that they both died at the same time. So the world is
Oh,
very weird.
I was thinking of something, but this might completely fry your head, right?
Right, right, go on then.
But I was saying it at work, okay, and I said that right. So you know that when something is man-made, it's not natural.
Right, I would argue against that, but yeah,
Right. Okay.
okay.
Well, this is then I think you're the perfect person to have this conversation with, because this is what I was saying. Is I'm now like, okay, but if that's the case, then but people say having a child is natural. but that is man-made.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, or
And
like,
and then also they would say that a beehive is natural when they're all taking it to the queen bee, right?
yeah,
But isn't it natural? Wouldn't it be natural the way that we're living? It'd be unnatural if we were all hunting in the streets in the cities.
yeah, yeah. Or like, if say I took a piece of wood and I carved a spoon out of it, would that be man-made? Because although I carved it, it is all natural material. Like it grew itself. You know, or like,
Yeah, see
techni-
that's what I see. I would agree that that is man-made and natural.
yeah, because I mean, like a pure just wood. Like I didn't treat it or anything. I just carved it out using like a rock rather than a knife. I've just found those things on the floor. Like, does that mean that like, say I put like a saw down in the forest and a tree fell over on it and cut itself in half? Does that then become man-made? Even because the saw is a man-made thing, but the tree did it itself. Like, yeah, I think that's kind of silly. There's a lot of things that are natural but like have been processed by people. Like a lot of people will go like, "Oh, I don't eat processed food," and then like eat like a breakfast bar, and you're like, "That is processed food."
Well, yeah,
Or,
exactly. So like, how do you think they have the milk to stay like that? And it's like dry milk, basically. They have, when it's like Cocoa Pops, where I don't know
yeah,
if they
yeah,
have them as much anymore. Because I don't really, but you'd have like the bottom bit would be like a little white layer. Then at the top you'd have like the Cocoa Pops.
yeah, yeah. Like they like. Or like even one where it's like it's got loads of nuts and stuff, and it's like all natural ingredients. But you're like, those nuts didn't take the shells off themselves. They didn't just fall into like a cereal bar from the tree.
Yeah,
They were
and
put
like,
in there.
and also is there like how else would we know? Like with me and you went to the shop, go buy like some milk or like a chocolate milk. I
Yeah,
don't know why
yeah.
that was my next variety. Any type of milk.
Yeah.
Um, um. Oh, what was I saying? Something about milk. Oh, but yeah.
Pasteurized milk is one where people say, oh, it's unnatural. But you're like, all they do is heat the milk up to 60 degrees. And some people would argue, oh, it removes like the minerals and vitamins. But if you look at how much heat is needed to remove minerals and vitamins, it doesn't remove any of those. It just kills bacteria in the milk.
Right. This is actually a debate I've had with people quite a lot, right? I quite like. I haven't actually been having them quite a lot recently because I don't know why. I just sort of go through phases of doing it or not. But I quite like to have a smoothie that will have like 2 bananas in, and I'll buy frozen like mango, pineapple, and stuff like that. Sometimes I get some watermelon, and then I'll pour like I don't know half of it filled with milk as well.
Yeah.
And I've been people said, oh well, if you blend it, you're getting rid of all the like you're not getting the maximum amount of whatever it is like the protein, nutrients, and I was like, well no, as long as I get all of that in me, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. I had that conversation with a PT at the gym as well, where he was like, "Oh, it's not as healthy to have a smoothie," and I was like, to be fair to him, he did explain that basically you're breaking down the structure of the fruit, which means that the sugar is easier to access for your body because it's like it goes straight in as sugar. Whereas when you eat a bit of fruit, but then you mash it up with your teeth. You don't just
Yeah,
swallow whole pieces of fruit.
yeah, like and the way you're still having it. It's not like you can't like blend 5 donuts and be there like, oh well, it's the equivalent of having two if you eat them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're totally right. Like maybe like the fiber in it is destroyed, but the vitamins and like the minerals are the same. You don't do anything to transform them. You don't react them. It's just
Mate,
making it into a soup.
I've been on a bit of a mad diet recently.
Have you?
Yeah, so because obviously I'm in work most days. But when I go to work in the morning, I'll have a ham and cheese wrap. I'll heat that up either in the oven or the microwave,
Okay.
and then I'll eat that throughout the morning. Then when it comes to lunchtime, I always have a jacket potato.
That's reasonably healthy so far. That's pretty good. I'm
Yeah,
proud of you for eating this much as well.
yeah, I know. I've because obviously I struggle to sort of keep regularly with eating as well. So I have the jacket potato. I then have about 3 big spoons of tuna, and then I have about 2 spoons of baked beans, and then I sprinkle some cheese on top, and then in for when I go back at work, I have like a meal, and then like the last time my meal was it was like peas, it was peas, roast potatoes, and chicken, and then the other day I came back with a spag bowl. The other day I came back with a full roast. Do you know what I mean? Like it's because it's different varieties of food. But I was actually thinking like honestly, tuna, potato, and beans and cheese fills you up. And I thought to myself, like, for someone who needs like burns energy quite quickly and won't eat as often, I think that's really it definitely like helped me a lot and gave me the energy I sort of needed. But I am drinking so much tea, like I'm more addicted to tea at the moment than I think I've ever been to beer.
That's kind of scary because I would
Like
say you're verged on alcoholic sometimes.
Like I could have like a Coke can in front of me and I'd rather have a tea.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. That's better than liking beer, I think. Tea's mostly water. It's just like
I know, but
yeah.
you're thinking the milk and the sugar of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have about 14 sugars, don't you? I'd say
No,
maybe
I
it's
don't. I have two. Mate, I have so much teas now. I have 2 sugars.
okay. That's much
There's no,
better.
there's no way I could do it. Like I now know that like I needed to sort of cut my sugars out, but I knew I couldn't just do it all in one big go
Yeah.
because I was having so much. So I've just sort of trying to like weaned myself off of the sugars. So I try not to buy like many sweets and stuff like that. Like I used to buy a donut nearly every other day, and now like I buy a donut like once a month now. Like genuine. Like I just and like not that is just because you can get into bad habits, and just because I'm not weighing 25 stone doesn't mean that I'm not. That doesn't mean that I'm healthy just because I'm not 20 stone.
Yeah. No, definitely. There's things
And
like
just because
cholesterol and stuff.
just because I look fairly healthy doesn't always mean that I am. And like I was talking with the person I work with, and basically she's about like she's a middle-aged woman. She grew up in Russia and she's Bulgarian,
Cool.
and she's a very like she's a very interesting woman. Like I just this is really a bit of a tangent, but it, basically she's very big on like her culture.
Yeah.
So she basically so she lives with her son lives with her and her husband. Okay. Now I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you a few things, and then at the end I want you to tell me how old he is.
Okay.
Right. So he doesn't know how to do his washing.
That's pretty wild.
Okay, so when he wants food, he tells his mum that he wants to eat it. So he'll like sometimes message her in the day and be like, "Oh, I'll be back around at like 11:15. Can I have chicken nuggets?" And then he'll want her to make it from scratch.
Chicken nuggets from scratch. That's crazy. Okay. So I'm
Um,
leaning towards like 4 years old.
right. So and then like basically said about she got him a present for Christmas,
Yeah.
and basically the TV that they got him was like not as good as the one he was looking at online or whatever. So she just was like, okay, whatever, made a Steam account for him and then just put her card in.
Right. Okay. So he has all the
Right,
games he wants.
right. Then I'm gonna this other story of he was out with his friends and it was raining. He was out for 5 hours, and she was like, "I had 3 loads of washing." I went, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, he came back 3 times to have a complete outfit change because he was soaking wet."
What was he doing? Standing outside and not undercover. Did he not take
And
out?
oh shit, I've got wet again.
That is crazy. He sounds about 14.
He's 25.
25. He's older than me. That's mental. That is
And
wild.
it was so weird because like she said that like and then we were talking. She was like, "Oh, I don't understand Brits," and I was like, "What do you mean?" And she was like, "Well, I hear all the time about people lending money from their parents and paying them back." I went, "Yeah," and she went, "Well, no." She went, "If my son gets into debt, that's my problem." And I was like, "No." I was like, I've been in trouble before, and I was like, I've asked my mum to help me, and she's gone, well, look, I can help you now, but when you get money, can you pay me back?
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because I was there like, what, like even at, like, and he's like really smart as well. He's like a data scientist for like the NHS or something,
Okay.
and he's on like decent money, and he still lives at home, and then yeah, and like she used to, when he first came over, he used to get £200 a week pocket money.
£200 a week.
Yeah, and like it's so weird because
That's
it's not like
mental.
they're all like completely well off. Like this woman, like she's amazing. Like she is an absolute workhorse and like is good at her job and like amazing work ethic. But I find it really interesting. I found throughout life that people that are really strong and determined and like become managers and like built themselves up from nothing, or I find that sometimes the grafters' kids end up being lazy because the grafters done so well at getting them everything that they don't appreciate it as much.
Yeah. No, I do get what you mean. It does seem like that. It's like, well, rich people tend to have like really bratty children, but then like they might work quite hard or be quite intelligent themselves. It is weird. Elliot's demanding that I tell you about your tuna and beans combo is gross. He wants me to tell you that, Toby.
Well, to make him feel even more gross, I had the nickname Tuna Boy because my first week of uni, we all went out and then we all came back and everyone's there with their pizzas, their chips, their doner kebabs. Somebody's got mackies, we've got a variety of things. And then I was sat in the corner of the room with a bowl of tuna and salad cream, just eating it.
On that note,
Yeah.
we'll call the podcast there. Tuna Boy is signing off.
Well,
That's
thank
wild.
you very much for everyone listening. Thank you, Elliot, for taking part. Also,
And when?
Elliot has said about coming on one time as a guest, so maybe we can do that for just before the season finale, or the season finale, or the first episode of the new season.
Yeah, we'll get guest stars on. We'll get Witten on to you eventually. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah, the socials and stuff are on screen.
Yeah, if you're new here, if you could just drop us a like or a follow. Is it a follow?
A follow, yeah,
If you
subscribe.
could just drop us a follow, like, or subscribe, and then help us be able to reach our goal of getting 50. Hopefully next time we will be fully suited and booted with all 3 of us. But
yeah.
Well, until next time, we'll see you then.
Yep. See you then.